and welcome to Business Unusual. I'm Liz Whitehead, co-mastermind at Diversity Masterminds, and I'm here as always with Heather Cox.
Hi, the other co-mastermind of Diversity Masterminds.
And we're here with Jennifer Reynolds, our guest today from Sauce Goddess. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello there.
So we're going to get into a little bit about what happens when business unusual becomes business as usual. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about Sauce Goddess and your company.
Well, Sauce Goddess is a gourmet food company. We make certified gluten-free sauces, spices, dip mixes, obscenely delicious kettle corn. Everything is just really great, made with super clean ingredients. And it's delicious. So it's not only not bad for you, but it actually tastes really good. And that's kind of what we're going for is the not bad for you market, which we're not trying to be the healthiest health food, and we're certainly not the worst. We're far from that. So,
and I will attest, it is delicious. That is why Jennifer is on this, because I was like, so good. It's so good. Her spices.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I like the addictive quality of the spices for sure.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's good. It's good.
I mean, it's not like unnaturally addictive. It's like addictive because it's so good you don't want to eat your food anymore. Let's just clarify. It's just not like putting nicotine inside her.
Yes, in a good way. In a good way.
Right. So Jennifer, how long have you been in business, and what was the impetus to start this company?
I have been in business 20 years as of this past October. Wow. And I started, it goes back to when I was in college. My dad has been making barbecue sauce, or was making barbecue sauce from the time I was a little girl, like 3 or 4. He couldn't find anything in the store he liked. He hated liquid smoke. And so he made his own. And I only found out about a few years ago that apparently he'd been making that since I was little. I didn't know that. I just thought he started like sometime when I was in high school or whatever. And, that's what we were eating. And anyway, found out from a friend, a childhood friend's parents, that kind of thing. And they said, "Oh, are you making that sauce that Keith used to run around the neighborhood making ribs with for us?" And I'm like, yeah, that would be my sauce. So I got him to use measuring cups one day because they were leaving California and I needed to make my own sauce. And so I got the recipe from him and started making ribs and chicken for my friends in San Diego, my friends in college. And it just kind of fast forwarded to a dare. As we were sitting on the beach one day, my friend said, "Don't get old and wonder what if you'd ever done something with that recipe." And I thought, don't get old and wonder what if. I don't ever want to get old and wonder what if, kind of no regrets sort of a thing. So I got on my my ruby red iMac at the time, the all-in-one unit, very cute, very timely. And I put in a gourmet sauce company, and a website popped up that said, "So you want to start your own gourmet sauce company, do you?" And I just sat there.
Like divine intervention, Jennifer.
I stared at the monitor. Yeah, divine intervention. I mean, I was like, what? There's actually a website where there's information, and there was all of these links and, all these people you could go to. And I gave it a go. And about, 2 months later, I got a call from my very first retailer, and it was a store called Great News. It was a gourmet cookware and cooking school in Pacific Beach in San Diego. And the owner called me. It was like December 16th. And he says, "I never call people this time of year, but we really liked your sauce. Can you come in January 20th and do a little in-store presentation?" I'm like, "Sure, Ron, absolutely." "See you then, bye." Because they were in the middle of their Christmas, manic store hustle and all of that. And, the fact that he took 5 minutes to call me to say, "We want your product." And I kind of just took it from there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So 20 years, you've been through other business unusual times then.
I have. I will say the first 8 years, though, I kept my regular day job, and I sort of had this as my side hustle. And about 5 years into so I started in 2000, about 2005, I went part-time with my day job, which they weren't too excited about since I was the vice president of the company. They weren't really thrilled that their vice president was now part-time. And I did that for 3 years. And up until the day I left, my customers that I've been taking care of for 20 plus years had no idea I was part-time.
Wow.
That's what happens when you do a Zig Ziglar and you prime the pump, and then the sales just flow.
Nice.
Oh, wait, tell us more about that. When you say do a Zig Ziglar and prime the pump.
Yeah, what's priming the pump?
Yeah, if you've ever watched Zig Ziglar or read any of his books, he talks about priming the pump. And priming the pump is where you do all the hard work, and it takes a long time to prime that pump, that well water. You know, you have to actually get all the air to come out. You have to work really hard, and then all of a sudden the water just starts coming up, and it'll flow from there forward. So, you know, you spend a couple years in sales priming the pump, and then the water flows. Nice. The money flows and that kind of thing. So that's just something I've always thought of in the back of my mind, and I'm still priming the pump with Sauce Goddess. So it's been a long time of priming that pump, but I'm still at it.
So you were insulated a little bit up until 2005 or 2008.
Yeah, 2008 is when I actually went full time with this, which
is that was the perfect year amidst the
crazy time,
right?
Crazy time to do it. I mean, and I just, you know, I will say the industry I left, I'm super glad I left. I was in the printing industry. And you know where that is now. So had I hung on, I'd be, you know, clinging on by my fingernails in an industry that's dying or transitioning rapidly. Let's put it that way. It's not dying. It's completely evolved into something that it wasn't. And almost all of the printing now being done is packaging. And you know, obviously some newspaper and magazines and stuff like that, but most of it's packaging.
So what are some of the lessons you learned? Because you pivoted from an industry, like you said, that's undergoing massive transformation. What are some of the lessons you've learned over the past 20 years that maybe helped you with the COVID-19 situation?
Well, probably the biggest lesson, there's a couple of them, but the biggest lesson is always make sure you have access to money.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a good one.
Because I feel like having access to money, while it's a two-edged sword, you know, you've got the double-edged side of it is the fact that you can go out and spend money that you shouldn't be spending. Right. You know, you can spend money that you shouldn't be spending on things, and I've done plenty of that because I had access to money. But having access to money also allows you to be flexible and jump on any opportunity that comes out. And so if an opportunity presents itself, you can jump in with both feet instead of thinking, oh, I don't have the money for that.
So you're thinking like lines of credit, you're thinking like take the, like, you know, get the idle money even if you don't really need it. Like
anything. Lines of credit, savings account, credit cards, home equity, anything as an entrepreneur that you might want to tap into, just have it kind of lined up. I did not do that as well as I should have this time because I didn't realize how quickly the banks would tighten up. You know, and so I, you know, had a few little hiccups, but you know, everything, I've come through all of that now, but I wasn't positioned as well as I thought I was for a couple of situations. So yeah, COVID was tough on my company in a way I did not expect. And anyway. But yeah, so the first thing, I guess, the having access to money is the number one thing, I think, because it frees you up on some of your decision-making processes to know that you don't have any restrictions in terms of what you can do financially. The other thing is, I think I have to trust my gut more. If my gut tells me that I shouldn't be doing something, I shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Because there are a million times I can count that there are things that I did that I shouldn't have done, and things I didn't pull out of as soon as I should have, because I knew
your gut was saying it's time, and you're like, no, I'm gonna give it another minute.
This just doesn't feel good, but I should do it. On paper it looks okay, but why does that feel so bad? Well, it feels bad because on paper I was missing something, or there was something else going on I found out about later that I should have known about, and you know, that kind of thing. So
yeah, I was talking to a financial advisor, CPA today, and she said one thing that business owners don't realize is you have to get that access to capital before you need it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like when you don't need it, actually, like when you don't need it, like I have all, you know, because then you're attracted to the banks. When you need the money, then, oh, you're a big risk. And it's so counterintuitive. And it's something that we've heard again and again on Business Unusual, but I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with certification. People will say like, well, I don't think I need it yet. I'm like, well, that's when you should, because once you need it, it's too, like once you need something, there's always a process to getting it, right? So that's to your point, like you want it before you need it, because once you need it, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and trusting your gut. I think that's a great one for everybody.
Oh yeah.
I was on a call with a bunch of other business owners, and this person was talking about taking this client. Like they weren't sure they wanted to take that. They had a weird feeling about just, Jennifer, just exactly what you're saying. And I was like, I don't think I've ever had a feeling like that where it actually worked out well. I was always right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're always right.
And you know, for me, I never know whether it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, but this could happen. I don't know about this. And so that little hesitation is in the back of my mind and causes the issue to happen, or whether it was already there to begin with, you know, and I just didn't listen to my gut, and my gut knew it was there and I just didn't listen. So
either way.
Yeah. Either way, it ends up happening, you know, and it's not a good thing.
So what have you done though this time around? Like kind of helped move things. And really upped your online presence. I know that you had a couple of hiccups over the Black Friday and the Cyber Mondays. Like, what have you done to really connect with your customers?
Well, I've been trying over the last year to really up my game in terms of connectivity and really increasing my connectivity with my customers that I've met at events over the years. I have done a lot of street fairs. I've done the Garlic Festival in Gilroy, California, 3 or 4 times in 105-degree heat. I've done hot sauce festivals all over the country. I mean, Ohio, Texas, Oregon, I've done them all over. Gluten-free shows, again, all over the country. In-store demonstrations all over the country. And everywhere I go, I meet people and I get to turn them on to my products. And that's a really cool opportunity. And this year, it was taken away from me in terms of being able to have the touchy-feely one-on-one, looking someone face-to-face and saying, I think you'll love this. This is really great on, you know, fill in the blank. And being able to do that, you know, face-to-face sales, which I really like. That was, you know, taken away. And yet from my business perspective, what I needed to focus on was building the business and setting the business up for success and growth. And I'm not doing that when I'm in Whole Foods hustling a sale, you know, trying to sell 20 tins of spices. That's not the way to grow my company. As much as I enjoy talking to people about food and teaching them all of that kind of stuff, that's not the way to grow the business. And so this year, I think I have focused more on growing the business than on.
You couldn't go anywhere.
I couldn't.
It was almost like a blessing in disguise for you then, right? You couldn't go to these places. Like I agree, there's things in my company that, you know, in all of our businesses, whatever, that I love doing, but are probably like the worst use of my time, like packaging holiday gifts. Yes. But they're so fun and I really want to do them, right? So I totally know what you mean. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise that you were stuck and you had to find a different focus.
Right. It was, absolutely. Because otherwise my days, so there are times when I would drive, say, from San Diego to Tucson.
Wow.
So I would wake up in the morning, I'd leave about 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd drive to Tucson, I'd do 2 demos at Whole Foods. I would do 11 to 2, and then I would drive across town, Tucson, eating my lunch in the car as I drove across. Then I would do from 2:30 to 5:30 or 6 at the other store in Tucson. And then I would go stay with a friend. We would have dinner, I would get up and do it all over again the next day. And where in that picture is any work on my company?
Right.
Right.
There's no, and what have I done? I've driven 6 hours, I've had dinner with a friend, and I've sold about 40 units.
Sounds fun, but
I mean, it's fun. It's really cool.
It's also tricky because that's, when you were talking about your side hustle and things like that, that's what you do need to grow the business at the beginning.
Yeah.
So then what you need,
Transitions.
your skill set has to shift and change, and that's hard.
Well,
what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah, I know,
Yes.
for sure. And the thing is, as a solopreneur right now, entrepreneur, I have a small team, but they don't actually work for my company. They're teams of people that I work with. But I find myself usually taking the lowest cost method out of a situation. And so a lot of the reasons why I've continued to do my own demos is it's typically $120 or $150 to have someone stand there who knows nothing about my product.
Right.
And that will tell customers it's good on anything. And they sell 5 or 10. And so I'm like,
That was lots of money, right?
just
The math isn't working out, right?
The math doesn't work out for that, but it doesn't work out for me doing it either. So,
Right.
there is
videos, demo videos.
Yes, there is a middle ground. It's actually something I've thought about, Heather, is I would like to do essentially a product video where it's a loop that's in the store that talks about each product and what it does. And I, haul it to Whole Foods, to the meat counter, and say, hey, can I give you this? You're welcome to put anybody else's product on there too, but here's my video, here's my loop, run it in conjunction with all these other companies or something.
Yeah.
There's a video marketing program that happens at some point, and honestly, at Whole Foods, they've got all those weird little plastic lift up things, where you can go in and grab a chip with some tongs.
Not anymore, but yeah.
No, not anymore. But they had space for that. They have electrical at the bottom of all of their shelves. I know, I'm using it. And so, why couldn't they hook up a little video monitor that just had on a loop?
That's a great idea.
Maybe that's a new company I could start, is a company that does, co-branded loop videos that end up in Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, we know a good partner that can do that with you, and you know them too, Jennifer.
I think so. I think the only thing is Whole Foods would probably find a way to charge each brand $250 to be in the store.
Probably, right.
Yeah, it would be like a reverse thing.
Yeah, they would figure out a way, because I know,
but that's what we're gonna get. But something like that would be a great use of even like in Target, right, where they have those special opportunities for certified women-owned businesses, which your company is, or We Bank certified. You have your cute little women-owned logo on there, right? So maybe that's something they would waive that stuff, that fee to do the video loop. I don't know, and then you're kind of cost neutral at that point.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing stuff out there like I know what I'm talking about, but
no, Heather, it's a great idea. And I mean, I love just thinking off the top of my head and coming up with ideas. And
it's always easier for someone else's company than it is for your own.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you have done since you haven't been able to go and do these demos? When you talk about working on your business, what are some of the things that you've done?
Well, I have done a lot on YouTube and Instagram. I did an entire video challenge for myself at the very beginning. And if you go to YouTube and you want some laughs, it's pretty funny, or Instagram, it's pretty funny. I have this giant bowl that's a pig. It's a red pig, red ceramic pig. I like to put pulled pork in it just because that's funny on so many levels.
Right.
But anyway, what I did is I went into my refrigerator in my pantry and I wrote down a bunch of stuff. Canned crab, Spam, cannellini beans, rice. I just started writing down ingredients, and then I went to the pig bowl and picked out 4 items and then made a dish with those 4 items.
That's so fun. That's like a cooking show. That's so fun.
It was crazy, and some of the videos are super funny. And the one that got the most draw was the one for scallops. I think I forget how many views we had, but it was a lot. And it was, what do scallops, caramel sauce, I forget what the other two ingredients were, but it was like crazy ingredients.
Scallops and caramel sauce.
Scallops, caramel sauce, and I forget what the other two were.
Oh my goodness.
So weird. It was so
hodgepodge.
weird. And I was like, all right, what am I going to do with this? And it ended up turned out, it was great. It was actually really delicious.
So tell me a little bit about, we talk a lot, obviously, about buying from diverse companies. Heather was talking about her gift packages, which she bought all from diverse owned companies and put them all together. What are some things that you did to show solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement and supporting other diverse businesses this year?
I didn't do anything to support Black Lives Matter in any formal way. I did, it's funny, I did do some personal work on Black Lives Matter in terms of reading and that kind of thing. So that was really enlightening and really cool. And it was interesting, the conversations I was having with my white friends after reading White Fragility. And what's the one I'm reading right now? The Color of, it has to do with the laws in the United States regarding the Black community and housing. And what can I think of it? The Color of Law? The Color of Law, maybe. The Color of, I forget what it is. Anyway, it's a really interesting read. But it's interesting because I have been the recipient of a couple of really, really helpful people in the diversity channel at their corporations. Helped me out a lot. LaShawn Smedley at Kroger got me a meeting with the condiments buyer at the time, Kim Springer. She just took a look at the products and took a chance on it. No slotting fees, which is pretty huge in the grocery end of things. They took a chance on my company and put us into 3 different banners. That's what the grocery store chains, that's what they call their different chains. So Fred Meyer, QFC, and King Soopers. They took 3 of our sauces in, which is absolutely terrific. And I actually nominated LaShawn for a He for She award.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I don't know if he got it or whether they even gave it out this year. I wasn't able to go to the Weebic West summit that happened last week.
No, it's right now.
Oh, it's right now.
Right now.
Oh,
yeah, the awards are tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he won. That'd be really cool.
We'll find out. Right.
He's just a super nice guy and very generous with his time and his efforts towards diversity companies. It's really neat. And then a gal at Safeway, Tina Massengill, helped me out as well. Even though she's not in their diversity program any longer, she still went to bat for me. I still had her name from contacting her a couple of years ago, and she went to bat, and we're now going to be in 4 regions of Safeway as a result.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's how I've benefited. How I am helping out diverse companies is, trying to connect with them as much as possible. Tell them where the certification might help them, or where maybe they don't need it, based on where they are in terms of what their business does. Some businesses, I don't know if it makes one bit of difference one way or another, whether they're actually certified or not. And Heather, I know, you think that all businesses should be certified. But
I don't actually. I do tell some not to get certified. It really just depends on the business and their audience and their ownership. And there's so many factors that go into it.
Yeah. I mean, I think in some cases, it's just not, it's not necessary. And in some cases, it's a huge thing. It's funny. I've focused more on doing business with diversity and women-owned businesses this last year. So one of the gals that I met at last year's Weebic West summit that was in September, I've got her working on some boxes for me. Anyway, it's been kind of interesting to think about, how to expand my reach in terms of who I'm doing business with. and making sure that they are, diverse companies, or as much as they can be. It's not always going to be possible, but for the most part, there is a diverse company everywhere in probably every segment of the market.
It's true.
And it's entirely possible for us to help each other out in a huge way.
Yeah.
I love when people tell me they can't find something. I'm like, give me 2 minutes. I'm on it.
You're like, I'm on it. I'll find you. I'll find you someone.
Well, this has been really great, and I love how candid you've been about, like, these are the things I did well, these are the things I was learning from. As we wrap up, one of the questions we like to ask people is, once coronavirus goes away, what's one thing from this time that you'd like to see stay? What's something that's been good?
I would like to see more people cooking at home, because it means they use more
that's a
sauces
good
and
one.
spices.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm gonna actually hang with me here. I'm gonna get out hang on, this is my company. Oh, come on, where is it?
That's an answer we have not yet had. So that's so good.
Yeah, that's a really
no one else has said keep cooking at home, but
so you guys, this goes back a long way. I actually wrote this out almost 20 years ago. My vision statement: Sauce Goddess will make people happy by providing products and services to make eating great meals easier.
That's great.
It doesn't really go into the cooking at home part, but that goes in a little bit more in my little mission statement and stuff. But
Yeah.
we're going to provide products and services to make cooking and eating great meals easier. We do this through pantry items, blah, 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 blah. And just, so
Right.
anyway.
well.
So where can people find these delicious products?
My delicious products can be found in almost 1,000 retail locations throughout the country. Line at saucegoddess.com.
That's
And you
great.
can also find a few selections at Amazon as well. They have
cool.
a limited amount of our products in different varieties.
Awesome.
But, yeah, saucegoddess.com is the best place to find the full selection of everything that we make,
That's
including all the recipes.
That's fantastic. And I love how your mission statement, see, that's why you got to trust your gut, because your mission statement
Still
relates
holds
to
true.
what you want people to do now. So that's fantastic.
I still think that it's so easy to create meals for yourself and your friends and your family and bring everybody back to the dinner table, and everyone's talking, and it doesn't have to be dinner on the run always. I mean, sometimes it does, but not always.
That's awesome. Well, we will look you up on Amazon and in our retail and finer retail stores everywhere.
Thank you very much.
So
Thanks a lot.
See you next time on
All
Business.
right, sounds good.